Hey guys, it's Vortex57 here. Figured I'd go through the tower and the reef and Iron Temple and see what's changed for the weekly reset for April, what is it, 27th, I believe. And yeah, we'll just see what Vanguard has to start.
Opening transaction.
So we have the Continental Auto Rifle. So this is a mid-impact, mid-rate of fire auto rifle. It's not bad overall. Let's see what we have for scopes. We have the Red Dot ORA, the Sure Shot IS, and the OEG. OEG's not bad. Sure Shot's really good. That's probably my favorite for auto rifles. For perks, we have Spray and Play, Grenadier, Hand Laid Stock, Rifle Barrel, and Third Eye. Now, Third Eye is not the greatest perk anymore because you can use Memory of Gelion if you really want to have radar when you're aiming down sights on your primary weapon. But it's not bad if you want to run something else and still have that perk. We do have Hand Laid Stock for greatly increased ability, but at the penalty to range, losing about 50% of your bonus range there, so keep that in mind. It can be a good trade-off, just depends on how you want to use it. Otherwise, if you really want range out of the weapon, which I might recommend this perk, then Rifle Barrel is your choice, because the reload is decent already, and can be offset actually through Spray and Play if you want. And the stability is not too bad to control on this weapon already, so probably I would run Third Eye, Rifle Barrel, and Spray and Play for the most part, but Grenadier is a good perk, and Hand Laid Stock is too bad either, so fit it to what you want. There's probably going to be better rolls on this gun. You can counterbalance, crowd control, hidden hand, things like that, which I would probably recommend over the perks here, but if you really want this, go ahead and pick it up. Otherwise, I'd recommend waiting. Next, we have Parthian Shot Pulse Rifle for the Vanguard. This is a max impact, lowest rate of fire pulse rifle archetype. We have the Reflex Sight, Quick Draw IS, and the OEG Rifle Scope. I'm not a big fan of these sights, but hey, if you are, go for it. It's more of a personal preference sort of thing anyways. For perks, we have Eye of the Storm, Take a Knee, Small Bore, Lightweight, and Headseeker. The only perk that really stands out this week is Headseeker, which is a fantastic perk, but Lightweight's okay. It's not going to hurt anything necessarily if you're running low agility already. But Small Bore, again, is good. Gives you increased range of stability, but your reload's going to go down, and it's I think it's going to take it from decent to just south of decent, so it starts to get kind of annoying at the reload range it's going to. And of course, the magazine's going to go down, and it's only a 27 round mag already, so keep that in mind. Eye of the Storm can be good. It's just that you can't reliably proc it all the time, but it's not a bad way to start this gun out. I mean, it will be effective between Small Bore, Headseeker, and Eye of the Storm, which is what I would run on this gun. But there's definitely better rolls out there on what you can get. Definitely better scopes, better stability boosts. I'd pass on this week, and hopefully we get a better one next week. Next, we have Angel's Advocate, Scout Rifle. This is the highest rate of fire, lowest impact archetype for Scout Rifles. For scopes, we have the Red Dot ORA 2, the Focus Lens FLA 5, and the Reflex Sight. My preference in these scopes is the Focus Lens FLA 5. I just like it. Not everyone does, but again, this is more of a personal preference sort of thing. So there you go. For perks, we have Rodeo, Take a Knee, Small Bore, High Caliber Rounds, and Return to Sender. Return to Sender is not bad. It's kind of a mid-tier perk. So it's just that the kills with this weapon have the chance to grant bonus ammo to the magazine, so it's not reliable necessarily. And in PvP, you want the most reliable perks you can get. For PvE, it's not bad if you have a bunch of mobs or something that you can one hit, so you can get a lot of kills out of your magazine to get more ammo back. When in PvP, you don't have as many chances per magazine to get your ammo back. You may have two, but that's unlikely. Much more likely is that you have one chance per magazine to kill someone. So it's not great, not a great start there. Rodeo's okay. It's not nearly as good as Counterbalance. Take a Knee is, in my opinion, useless, but not everyone's the same there. Small Bore, although it's good, and this weapon has a high reload already, its magazine is only 14, so by the time that you reduce the magazine, it's going to be pretty low. So obviously, I'd run High Caliber Rounds. That's a pretty good perk for this gun, but that's about the only one. I'd pass this week and hope that we have a better one next week. Next, we have the Hand Cannon. How Dare You? This is in the highest rate of fire, lowest impact archetype for hand cannons. We're very, very close to it. For scopes, we have the True Set IS, the Fast Draw IS, and the Quick Draw IS. The True Sight is a very, very good scope, has very good target acquisition. I'd recommend it. Only Sure Shot is a little bit better, in my opinion, but just slightly. So True Sight is still a very, very acceptable scope for this gun. For perks, we have Mulligan, Last Resort, Reinforced Barrel, Lightweight, and Hidden Hand. Now, this gun's already got decent target acquisition on it, especially from the True Sight IS. So although Hidden Hand will help, it's not as useful for this gun as it might be for something else, say Palindrome, which I actually think that one has good target acquisition anyways. But the point being, Hidden Hand is good, but Rangefinder would probably be better in this situation. And then we have Reinforced Barrel, which is very, very good and very important on a gun like this. So you're getting a large range boost from this perk. If you have not tried a gun like this before, I would highly recommend it. Let's try that again. Next, we have the hand cannon How Dare You from the Vanguard. Remember, this is the highest rate of fire, lowest impact arc type, or very, very close to it for hand cannons. For the scopes/sights, we have the True Sight IS, we have the Fast Draw IS, we have the Quick Draw IS. True Sight is very, very good. It's not quite as good as the Sure Shot, but it's still very strong in my opinion. So that's not necessarily a knock against this weapon. It's a great starting scope. For perks, we have Mulligan, Last Resort, Reinforced Barrel, Lightweight, and Hidden Hand. Hidden Hand, while good in general, and this weapon is a little bit wasted, because it's already got True Sight IS to give it another boost in target acquisition, and it's got it's decent target acquisition already on this gun, so it's not going to hurt anything. It will help, but it's not maybe as good as something like Rangefinder, which would increase your range even more on a gun like this that already has pretty low ranged impact. We do have Reinforced Barrel though, so you're going to get a large boost to range on this gun for the cost of stability, which isn't that bad of a trade-off on a hand cannon. And I would say if you haven't used a hand cannon like this before, it's, these high rate of fire ones, you just kind of stuck with Eyes Luna and Palindrome, this might not be a bad one to pick up and give a shot, because this is pretty close to its final form, so to speak. So if you don't like this, then you're never probably going to like this archetype of hand cannon. If you do like this archetype of hand cannon already and you don't have a good roll, this is not a bad one to start with. The only thing that's a little disappointing is this column of perks here is not the greatest. It's all right. Mulligan is going to help you every once in a while. It procs, I think, about 25% of the time. So you'll probably get a round or two back per magazine on average. And then, of course, Last Resort is much better in PvP, something like Skirmish or Trials, but I probably wouldn't be rocking this in Trials in general. And in PvE, Strikes or something's not too bad. So there you go. Onto the Fusion Rifle, X Astris. This is a lower impact, higher charge rate type of fusion rifle, so we'll keep that in mind as we go along. For scopes, we have the MD Reflex, the Red Dot ORA2, and the OEG. OEG, again, is okay. The other ones they're all right. None of these really tickle my fancy, but they're okay. Again, it's up to you. If you like these scopes, then go for it. For perks, we have Unflinching, Replenish, Perfect Balance, Accelerated Coils, and Hidden Hand. So, this is an alright roll. I mean, Hidden Hand's never going to be bad. You're going to get better target acquisition. Accelerated Coils can be fun on a gun like this. It's already a very high charge rate, and you're increasing that charge rate even more. But you are lowering your impact. So it's going to, I don't know if this changes the number of bolts, but you're already at about the max number of bolts that the sync and fire needed to kill an enemy in PvP. So for PvE, I think Accelerated Coils might be kind of fun, but for PvP, I'd run Perfect Balance. In Unflinching, again, in PvE, Unflinching is a nice perk. In PvE, I wouldn't worry about it too much, though. So it could be kind of a fun gun to try out, but it's definitely not like a top-tier gun here. For the sidearm, Teacup Tempest. This week we have, for scopes, the True Sight IS, the Fast Draw IS, and the Quick Draw IS. So the True Sight, again, is good. It's got a nice target acquisition boost. Again, I forgot to mention, this is the lower rate of fire, higher impact type of sidearms, keep that in mind. For perks, we have Zen Moment, Feeding Frenzy, Snapshot, High Caliber Rounds, and Hot Swap. So this is a pretty good roll for PvP. Again, you're not going to use sidearms too much in PvE, but if you do, it's also a good roll for that. Hot Swap's going to be good because most likely you're not going to be leading off with a sidearm, even though they have a mag left or a mag when you respawn every single time in Crucible. You only get 11 shots in the magazines. You can't use it like a primary reliably. So you're most likely swapping to this to clean up from maybe a primary kill or someone else's shots or something. So hot swap is going to be very effective there when you switch to it. It gives you a 5-second boost to your accuracy. It's really nice. High caliber rounds, again, it's not going to do anything bad. It's going to flinch your targets more in PvP and PvE, right? It'll cause them to stagger more often. But PvP, it's going to cause that scope to go even more crazy, which is really, really nice. And then both of these perks are actually really, really good here. Zen Moment, the more you hit, the more stability you get. So that's, that speaks for itself. It's going to help you out quite a bit. And Feeding Frenzy, if for some reason you have multiple targets you're trying to take down, you kill one, it's going to be very, very nice and quick to reload to start shooting the next one. So if you're looking for a good sidearm, this is a pretty good place to start. I'd probably pick this one up this week. Now for the shotgun, Occam's Razor. This is the highest rate of fire, lowest impact archetype for shotguns. For scopes, we have linear compensator, CQB ballistics, and aggressive ballistics. Now, I'm probably going to suggest you just stick with linear compensator. You can choose CQB ballistics and get more stability, but you already have a very low range and impact, and you're decreasing those even more. So unless you really need that extra stability boost, I would probably just stick with linear compensator. For perks, we have performance bonus, Army of One, Reinforced Barrel, Lightweight, and Rangefinder. Now, this is kind of, this is an interesting role for this type of shotgun. If this was like a Matador or Party Crasher or something, this would be a very, very good role. It doesn't have the most range you can get out of a range boosting perk, but it's almost maxed as far as what you can get on this gun. But it's already got such a low range and such a low impact that it's going to help, but it's not that big of a deal. So Rangefinder, Reinforced Barrel, Performance Bonus, Army of One, it's a good role, but for something like this, full auto is really what makes this type of shotgun shine. So pick it up if you like this type of role, but this is more of a Matador type of role that has been applied to a much different type of shotgun. It will be reliable, right? You'll have a good time with it, but it's not really the type of perks that really make this gun shine. If you want that, look for full auto and crowd control and something like that. It's much more PvE-centric type of shotgun here. Onto the sniper rifle, 7th Sense. This is a lower impact, higher rate of fire sniper rifle. I believe it's the same archetype as Praetor's Revenge from Vault of Glass. So if you really like that type of sniper rifle, this is a sniper rifle for you. For scopes, we have the Wild Hawk SLS-20, the Short Gaze, SLH-10, and the Eagle Eye SLR-20. I've seen a lot of these scopes this week. Short Gaze, very, very good scope. Good place to start on a gun like this. It's got a nice zoom level and good target acquisition. For perks, we have Underdog, Life Support, Armor Piercing Rounds, Small Bore, and Unflinching. The only perk here that really stands out to me as good as Unflinching for PvP. It'll do you right in PvP, right? It's got high aim assist because it's the lower impact archetype. It's got short gaze, so it's got a good scope and unflinching, so it's going to be decent. But you really have life support is okay, but remember, if you're sniping, usually you're not in those situations where you're getting hurt all the time. And if you are starting to get shot, you're probably not going to want to counter with your sniper rifle. You're going to pull out your primary, most likely to try and fight off the opponent that's right next to you. So it's okay, but it's not really purposed well for a gun like this. Underdog, it's kind of in the same boat as life support, right? So it's good, but it only procs when your health is low, and if your health is low, you're probably not going to try and use a sniper rifle to counter. You can, right? Some people do it effectively, but again, these aren't reliable perks. I'd rather see something else here. And armor piercing rounds and small bore just they don't really add anything meaningful to your gun here. Small bore is not bad. It's good enough. It boosts your range and stability, but it'd be nice to see maybe perfect balance or something else in this column. For the LMG, for the machine gun, Bone Crusher, this week we have, let's see, for ballistics, we have CQB ballistics, linear compensator, and soft ballistics. Remember, this is an absolutely maxed impact type of LMG. CQB ballistics is probably what I'd choose to run here anyways. You do have linear compensator, so you can get a bit more impact and range out of this gun, which is nice, but you are sacrificing most of your stability boost to this gun. So keep that in mind as you're going through. And soft ballistics, I'd probably just keep running CQB ballistics, but it's up to you. For perks, we have Eye of the Storm, Guerrilla Fighter, Small Bore, Appended Magazine, and Rangefinder. So Rangefinder and Eye of the Storm aren't bad on this gun, especially with the range boost that Rangefinder is going to give you. Small Bore normally wouldn't be too bad, but you've only got a magazine of 25 on this gun, and you don't have any boosts over here to help out your reload speed, so it's okay, but no matter what, between Small Bore and Appended Magazine, you're going to get a reload nerf to this gun. At least Appended Magazine helps balance that out with more bullets in your magazine, but I don't know, that's just not going to make for a fun shooting experience with this gun. I'm probably going to wait until next week to pick this thing up. For the rocket launcher, disassembly required. This is not the max blast radius type of rocket launcher, but it's definitely on the higher end of the scale. It has a little bit higher rate of fire than, say, the Crucible one, Something Wicked. So Something Wicked takes a long time to shoot between its two shots, so if you don't like that, this is probably a better balance for you. For its launches, we have Warhead Veneers, Soft Launch, Hard Launch. So there's not a real clear winner here. I'd probably just stick with the Warhead Veneers. You know, if you want a little bit more velocity over blast radius, then Soft Launch is for you. For perks, we have Vacuum, Life Support, Perfect Balance, Heavy Payload, and Cluster Bomb. So Heavy Payload and Cluster Bomb are going to do very well together. You're going to get a little bit more blast radius out of it for those PvE encounters. Cluster Bomb, again, going to help clear out even more adds or maybe even a higher tier enemy a little bit better. And this could also be used for the whole Axis rocket launcher strat, if that's what you want to run. So it's not a bad place to start. I'd probably just go with the disassembly required, though. I think it's a little bit better for what it's trying to do. So for our first gun, we have the Zero Day Dilemma auto rifle. For scopes, we have the Reflex, Quick Draw IS, and OEG. I kind of like the OEG. The other ones are okay. It's pretty much up to you on your personal preferences. For perks, we have Spray and Play, Danger Close, Brace Frame, Appended Magazine, and Persistence. Now, this gun offers some very interesting synergistic perks here. We have Persistence, which grows more accurate the longer it's fired, Brace Frame, which increases stability but reduces your magazine size, and Spray and Play. So, Persistence, again, is going to be relative to the percentage of the magazine that you're in, will give you more stability, right? However, with Brace Frame, we're getting more stability but less magazine, so less shots in your magazine. I don't know what it goes down to, but think of it this way. Say it goes down to 20, your Persistence is actually going to proc a little bit sooner because there's less shots in your magazine. Normally that might not be so great. However, you have Spray and Play to really counteract that loss in shots in your magazine. So if you were to run these three perks, you might have a fun time. Might be worth checking out. Next, we have the B29 Party Favor Pulse Rifle. This is in the higher rate of fire, lower impact archetype. It's not the lowest like Clever Dragon or the Waltz, but it is one notch above that in impact. It's very close. It's Hawksaw archetype, if you're familiar with that. For scopes, we have the Red Dot ORA2, the Steady Hand IS, and the OEG rifle scope. None of the scopes are really doing it for me, but maybe they do for you. Perks, we have Eye of the Storm, Life Support, Brace Frame, Feather Mag, and Head Seeker. Head Seeker, of course, is always good on pulse rifles. It's always going to treat you well. Head Seeker plus Brace Frame and Eye of the Storm can be a very potent perk combo. Just remember, you're going to lose some shots in your magazine, and you're not really boosting your reload speed or anything. So it's fairly high on this gun already, so you're not going to feel it that much, but you're probably going to go from possibly getting a multiple kill per magazine to most likely just getting one, but with Head Seeker and Eye of the Storm, it's probably going to be a more reliable kill in the first place. The hero formula, Scout Rifle with the lowest impact, highest rate of fire archetype, scopes, Red Dot ORA, Focus Lens FLA5, and the Reflex Sight. I actually really like the Focus Lens, so that's a good place to start with this weapon. For perks, you have Life Support, Take a Knee, Brace Frame, Armor Piercing Rounds, and Reactive Reload. Reactive Reload is going to be a with Brace Frame. You really need a stability boosting perk on this gun, so Brace Frame is a good place to start. And Life Support, although it's not the greatest perk, is good in certain situations, and it will save your life every once in a while. So not a bad roll this week. It could be better, maybe Explosive Rounds or Hidden Hand or something, but I think it might be pretty fun. For the palindrome this week, hand cannon, not the most maxed impact on hand cannons. It's the next notch down, but it's probably the best type of archetype you can get on this gun. Scopes have steady hand IS, fast draw IS, quick draw IS, so scopes are okay. We don't have true sight or sure shot, so look out for that, but I think you can probably do fine with these scopes, to be honest. Perks, we have Relentless Tracker, Spray and Play, Reinforced Barrel, Lightweight, and Reactive Reload. You do get a very good range boosting perk on this gun, so that's a good start. Reactive Reload is always going to treat you well, and Spray and Play is always going to treat you well. So it's not a top tier roll by any means, but it's not a terrible roll either. So if you want to try it, I'd recommend maybe giving it a shot and seeing what happens. Now on to the Fusion Rifle, Each New Day. This isn't quite the max impact archetype for Fusion Rifles, but it's close. Scopes, we have MD Reflex, Red Dot ORA2, and the OEG. OEG is not bad, and the other ones aren't terrible. I'd probably pick OEG on this, but again, it's up to you. For perks, we have Battle Runner, Last Resort, Hand Laid Stock, Enhanced Battery, and Hot Swap. Battle Runner is always going to be a fun perk on just about anything it's on. I very much enjoy Battle Runner. And Hand Laid Stock is going to give you a nice stability boost in all situations, so that one's never going to steer you wrong either. Hot Swap isn't terrible. I think it gets a little bit of a bad rep. If you're using it intentionally, it's a very, very good perk, but it only works for that first 5 seconds after you swap to it. So if you had Quick Draw or something, that would synergize well, but if you know that it's coming and you know you're going to use it, then Hot Swap is very useful. If you want something that's a bit more neutral game, like Rangefinder, Hidden Hand, obviously Hot Swap's not going to do it for you. So if you're willing to think about ahead of time the fact you're going to get Hot Swap on your gun when you switch to it, I'd give it a shot. This really isn't a terrible roll with the good stability and Battle Runner. And then for PvE, Enhanced Battery is never going to hurt either. Next, we have the 44 Curtain Call Shotgun. This is kind of in the mid-impact tier for shotguns. So this isn't quite on the Matador level, but it's not all the way down to the Bad Console or the Vanguard one, the Occam. So keep that in mind. It's kind of right in the middle. For ballistics, we have the Linear Compensator, Accurized Ballistics, and Soft Ballistics. For this gun, I'd probably go with Soft Ballistics. I'll show you one in a second, but you really, really, really want stability on this gun. For perks, we have Cascade, Battle Runner, Rifle Barrel, Quick Draw, and Full Auto. So the reason why you want that stability is you're going to be running Full Auto with this gun, which actually is going to synergize. Full Auto synergizes very well with all shotguns, but the higher the rate of fire, the better it synergizes with, and the better it's going to take advantage of that Full Auto. The only problem is Full Auto on a low stability shotgun means that by the time you're done with your mag, you're going to be pointing at the sky. So it helps to get that good stability boost in there. Full Auto, you got a decent range boost on this gun, which isn't going to hurt you. And then Cascade and Battle Runner are two very, very good perks you can pick from. You just got to use them both intentionally. Remember, Cascade, melee kill will automatically give you a portion of this weapon's magazine back. So if you're close quarters already with a shotgun, so it's not unreasonable to assume you're going to be doing some melee kills as well, especially on a Titan who likes to punch things. So maybe look at that, give that a shot. Battle Runner is always going to be fun. I honestly think this is a decent roll on a shotgun and could be a lot of fun in PvE. Next, we have the Sidearm Anton's roll. For scopes, we have Steady Hand IS, Sure Shot IS, Quick Draw IS. So we got Sure Shot, that's a good place to start. Perks, Outlaw, Beating Frenzy, Hand Loaded, Casket Mag, and Hot Swap. This is an okay roll. Remember, this is the highest rate of fire, lowest impact archetype for sidearms. You have two good reload boosting perks here. Outlaw is, of course, very reliable, and so is Feeding Frenzy. Feeding Frenzy will proc off any type of kill, and then, of course, Outlaw will proc only on precision types of kills. So depending on how you play, this is actually a very nice complement to your playstyle for this sidearm. Hand-loaded and Casket Mag, again, they're okay. Hand-loaded doesn't boost the range that much, but, you'll feel it in certain situations. It's an okay roll. If you're hurting for this type of sidearm, it's not a bad place to start, but I'd probably hold off maybe until we got a high caliber rounds and Hidden Hand or a good stability boosting perk on this. Alright, on to the Event Horizon Sniper Rifle. This is a maxed impact, lowest rate of fire type of sniper rifle. For scopes are the Hawkeye SLR-15, the Short Gaze SLH-10, and the Eagle Eye SLR-10. So Short Gaze is an excellent scope for sniper rifles. It's a good place to start for something like this. Perks, you have Army of One, Mulligan, armor-piercing rounds, casket mag, and unflinching. Unflinching is not bad at all, especially for PvP. Army of One on a sniper rifle is actually going to treat you very, very well, because if you're getting headshots, most of the time, you're going to get unassisted kills, right? So this is going to proc a lot, and it doesn't take that long for it to recharge your abilities. So if you're planning on using this for that type of purpose, for recharging your abilities, it's going to do very well. The middle tier is okay. I wouldn't mind seeing a stability boosting perk in here, to be honest. And armor piercing rounds really isn't that great for PvP, so it's an okay roll. You know, unflinching is going to help, obviously, with the flinch that sniper rifles get. If you're looking for this to fill that hole, right, with maybe the Army of One perk, then, you know, go ahead and pick it up, but otherwise I'd probably hold off and see what we can get later. All right, for the Chaotic Neutral Machine Gun. Remember, this is a lower rate of fire, higher impact archetype. It's not the highest impact archetype, but it is close. For ballistics, we have CQB ballistics, smart drift control, and soft ballistics. Oh, man, you could go with soft ballistics and get a little bit more range out of this, but and they're also similar. I wouldn't worry about it too much. For perks, we have life support, spray and play, perfect balance, rifle barrel, and persistence. This isn't a bad perk set here. We have persistence, perfect balance, and spray and play. So you actually already have a decent amount of stability on this gun. So if you're to run perfect balance and persistence, you're going to have a very, very nice time shooting this gun. And spray and play, of course, is going to help mitigate that lower magazine size that this has of only 31. So maybe pick it up. That'd be fun. For the rocket launcher this week, something wicked. This is a lowest rate of fire, highest blast radius, and higher velocity rocket launcher. For our launches, we have aggressive launch, soft launch, hard launch. I'd probably go with soft launch. You're only losing a little bit of blast radius, but you're getting maybe another, I don't know, 15-20% stability boost or velocity boost on this. So yeah, but aggressive launch is also going to be very good if you want that absolute maxed blast radius. This is probably better for the PvE scene. This one's a little bit better for the PvP scene. For perks, you have Grenadier, Army of One, perfect balance, heavy payload, and cluster bomb. So the nice thing is here, if you want to run soft launch, you can pretty much get all that blast radius back with heavy payload. If you are running aggressive launch, heavy payload doesn't help you at all because it's already max blast radius. Keep that in mind. Then you want to run perfect balance. And of course, cluster bomb. So this is an okay PvP roll. It'll do fine, but for PvE in mobs, this is probably the best type of rocket launcher you can get, save for maybe having Field Scout in the middle here. You have an absolutely max blast radius, you have cluster bombs, and then you have Grenadier or Army of One, both of which are going to give you nice, really nice boost to your cooldowns on your abilities. So especially Grenadier really gets your grenade up quick. So if you put this in a bunch of Thrall, yeah, you're going to get your grenade back basically instantly. So I'd pick this up. This is a really nice PvE roll. To start, we have the auto rifle Extremophile 011. This is a mid-impact tier auto rifle. For scopes, we have the reflex sight, the Sure Shot IS, and the OAG rifle scope. Sure Shot IS is my personal favorite for auto rifles. It's very nice, reliable, just a simple red dot. It's a good place to start, but hey, run what you want. For perks, you have the armor piercing rounds, snapshot, perfect balance, third eye, and persistence. So there's no real standout perks on this gun, but it is going to be very nice to shoot. It's got a good scope, persistence, perfect balance, and I'd probably go with snapshot. So it's going to feel good, but doesn't have anything like crowd control or counterbalance to make it like a laser that you're shooting at. So just keep that in mind. But, you know, hey, it's worth picking up if you like this type of auto rifle. The scout rifle, Keystone 01. Remember that this is an absolutely maxed impact scout rifle and lowest rate of fire. For scopes, we have the red dot ORA2, the range lensed RLS5, and the reflex sight. So not my favorite sights, but hey, if they're what you like, then go for it. I mean, they're serviceable, but they're just not the greatest. We have explosive rounds for perks, lightweight, perfect balance, outlaw, and crowd control. So perks-wise on this gun, it's very good. Crowd control is very nice and reliable, especially on a gun like this. In Crucible, you only need 3 shots to the head to kill, so it's pretty likely that you're going to be able to use that crowd control effectively, even if you just get like 2 headshots and a body shot or 2. You're still going to have plenty of shots left in your mag. Just take advantage of that crowd control perk. Outlaw and Perfect Balance are both very good choices. I'd probably run Outlaw in PvE and Perfect Balance in PvP, but that's my choice. And Explosive Rounds, again, it's going to be a lot of fun in both PvP and PvE. It's going to help disorient enemies in PvP, and in PvE get some good AoE damage at further ranges. So I'd probably pick this one up if you're a fan of this archetype of scout rifle. For the fusion rifle, Worlds to Come 001. This is a higher impact archetype of fusion rifle, so we'll keep that in mind. We have the MD Reflex Scope, the Red Dot ORA2, and the OAG. Again, OAG is okay. Other scopes, not a big fan of, but that's your personal preference. For perks, we have Accelerated Coils, Lightweight, Perfect Balance, Spray and Play, and Hot Swap. So this gun doesn't have anything what I would consider a standout perk. It doesn't have Hidden Hand or Rangefinder or anything like that. But it's got some interesting combos. It's going to be more of a jack-of-all-trades sort of gun, right? You got Perfect Balance and Hot Swaps. You got a more stability-focused, accuracy-focused type of gun. You've got Spray and Play and Accelerated Coils, which are more of a close range, maybe PvE mob-type engagement weapon. So a couple different roles here. If it fits your fancy, I recommend picking it up. Otherwise, maybe hold off for Good Saladin's visual roll or something else for next week. For the Shotgun Last Ditch 001, this is a higher impact type of shotgun. Pretty sure it's the same archetype as at least the Party Crasher. I'm not sure. I had to check. But anyways, it is definitely on the higher impact range of shotguns, so keep that in mind. For ballistics, we have Smooth Ballistics, Accurized Ballistics, and Aggressive Ballistics. So I probably would just keep running Smooth Ballistics, since the other ones reduce your range. Aggressive Ballistics does boost your impact, but again, it reduces your range and stability by a ton, so keep that in mind. For perks, we have Extended Mag, Hip Fire, Small Bore, Cascade, and Rangefinder. So Rangefinder, of course, on a gun like this is going to be very, very nice, right? Going to get you a little extra boost in range, hopefully to kill your enemy before they kill you. Small Bore boosts your range and stability, reduces your reload for sure, and it might reduce your magazine. I'm not sure. However, even though you're getting a reduction in reload, you are getting a boost if you use Extended Mag. So it's going to help mitigate that cost and reload, and even if it still does reduce your magazine size on this gun. Not a bad roll at all if you're hurting for a higher range, higher impact shotgun. So pick that up. You can get better rolls out there, especially in this middle column, but it's not a bad place to start. For the sniper rifle, Bitter Edge 010. Remember, this is the lowest impact, highest rate of fire type of sniper rifle. We have the Wildhawk SLS-20 to start out the scopes, the Ambush SLH-25, and the ViewTac SLH-20. Ambush is very good, especially on a sniper rifle like this. It's a bit more of a close-range sniper rifle anyways. I personally really like the Ambush, but it's all up to you. Starter perks, we have the high caliber rounds, quick draw, hammer forged, clown cartridge, and firefly. So firefly is always going to be a fun perk to have on a sniper rifle. You're going to get a lot of precision kills with a gun like this. Clown cartridge and hammer forged are both pretty good. Hammer forged on this particular gun isn't going to help you that much because it's already got a very high range. Clown cartridge does. Sometimes you're going to get 6 in your mag, so I'd say it's a fun perk to run. And high caliber rounds for PvP. It'll help, but keep in mind, you're already shooting somebody. If you're not getting a headshot, then high caliber rounds procs. If you're getting a headshot, you're killing them anyways, so high caliber rounds doesn't matter. But if you get a body shot, they will experience more flinch, but you're already flinching them a ton with a sniper rifle. So I'd probably run quick draw for PvE. High caliber rounds can be good for staggering a boss. I probably wouldn't run the sniper rifle in general for PvE, but for some reason you are. It does have fireflies. I guess I could see it, but high caliber rounds that would help stagger those higher tier enemies and especially the bosses. So maybe pick it up if this sniper rifle is your archetype. For the rocket launcher, Unto Dust 00. Remember, this is a lower blast radius and velocity, highest rate of fire type of not sniper rifle, rocket launcher. For our launches, we have aggressive launch, linear compensator, and countermass. I'd probably just go ahead and run aggressive launch, since the other two reduce your blast radius by a sizable amount. If it was something else like the something wicked or something, then it wouldn't be that big a deal, but I'd just stick with aggressive launch on this. For perks, we have Flared Magwell, Quick Draw, Javelin, Third Eye, and Grenades and Horseshoes. So of course, Grenades and Horseshoes is very good for both PvP and PvE, especially PvP. Javelin, increased velocity, never going to hurt anybody. Flared Magwell is okay, but your reload is already very, very high on this gun. So I probably would just run Quick Draw, Javelin, and Grenades and Horseshoes. It's not a bad PvP roll at all. It's okay for PvE, but PvE really benefits from those really, really high blast radius rocket launchers. So there you go. If you're looking for a good PvP rocket launcher, I might pick this one up. So for the hand cannon, the Whale, this is a higher impact, lower rate of fire type of hand cannon, so similar to the Palindrome, same archetype of impact. So for our scopes, we have the True Sight IS, Sure Sight IS, and Quick Draw IS. So it has the two best scopes you can get for a hand cannon, so that's a good start. For perks, we have Explosive Rounds, Quick Draw, Perfect Balance, Relentless Tracker, and Reactive Reload. Reactive Reload, very good perk in general, so you'll proc this one a lot, especially in PvP, or sorry, PvE and PvP you'll proc it, but Explosive Rounds can be a lot of fun in PvP and very good in PvE. Perfect Balance, while good, is not nearly as effective or useful as a range boosting perk for this type of gun. So I'd probably hold off to get a nice like reinforced barrel or something to really boost the range on this gun. It's not a bad roll, so if you do really like, reactive reload and explosive rounds, if that's your thing, then go ahead and pick it up. It'll be very effective in PvE. Just in PvP, you're going to get yourself outclassed by a lot of other hand cannons. For the pulse rifle, the Waltz. For scopes, we have the Reflex Sight, Steady Hand IS, and the OEG. I forgot to mention, this is the lowest impact, highest rate of fire archetype for pulse rifles, so similar to Clever Dragon. For perks, we have Flared Magwell, Quick Draw, Perfect Balance, Eye of the Storm, and Rodeo. So not really the best perk selection this week. Perfect Balance and Rodeo will help together to really boost the stability on this gun. It's not the greatest, but it works. But you really don't have any fantastic perks in this first column here, so I'd probably hold off till next week to see if we get a better roll. For the fusion rifle, the Waiting, this is a nearly max impact archetype of fusion rifle. This is the same archetype as Saladin's Vigil, so for some reason you can't get a Saladin's Vigil to drop, this is a good stand-in of fusion rifle. It's not quite as good, but it's the same archetype. For scopes, we have the MD Reflex, the Red Dot ORA2, and the OAG. Again, OEG is not a bad scope. I like it. The other ones are not my favorite, but hey, it's all up to you. For perks, we have Accelerated Coils, Quick Draw, Hammer Forged, Spray and Play, and Rangefinder. Now, this has some decent perks on it. Rangefinder is going to help increase the range on this gun. I'm pretty sure it actually makes the bullets fire faster, so there should be less bullet travel time between you and your target. It's not so much the distance, but think about the reliability of when you're actually firing the gun and when it's going to hit your enemy. Hammer Forged, same thing. So you're getting a nice range boost on this gun. So that's a really nice place to start. Spray and Play might be a better option for PvE, right? So in PvP, I'd run Hammer Forged. PvE, you might run Spray and Play. It's kind of up to you and your style. Accelerated Coils, it's nice to have the option to change the archetype of this gun. I might run Accelerated Coils in PvE just because you don't really need that max impact all the time in PvE, but in PvP, it can change the number of bolts required to kill a target. I'm pretty sure this increases the number of bolts by 1 to kill your targets in PvP. So probably want Quick Draw, Hammer Forged, and obviously Rangefinder in PvP, and then Spray and Play and Accelerated Coils in PvE. But it's up to your personal preference. That being said, it's a good roll this week, so go ahead and pick it up. For Scout Rifles, or for the Scout Rifle, the Wounded. Remember, this archetype is the mid-impact archetype for Scout Rifles. Same thing as Vision of Confluence or the old Hung Jury. I try to remember the name of that, Hung Jury. Scopes with the Red Dot ORA2, the Range Lens, RLS3, and the Reflex Sight. So, not the greatest scopes this week, but they aren't terrible either. So, especially if you really like one, that's a good place to start. For perks, you have Explosive Rounds, Full Auto, Hammer Forged, Unflinching, and Crowd Control. Crowd Control, of course, is always good on guns. I really like crowd control. It's good. It's reliable. Hammer forged. This gun already has a decent amount of range. I wish that it had a stability perk in this place right here. That would be ideal, but it doesn't. Unflinching isn't bad, but it's not. It's not going to be wasted on this gun, but it's definitely not going to help this gun really shine. So middle tier almost doesn't matter what you pick. I'd probably go with Hammer Forge just because extra range isn't going to hurt anything. However, for this column, we have explosive rounds, which is a ton of fun, both PvP and PvE, and full auto. So full auto is really going to help make shooting this gun very easy. It's going to feel very nice. You can just hold down that trigger. It's going to help with your controller bounce that you're trying to not make the rest of your fingers and everything go crazy just because you keep tapping this gun like bonkers. So good perk choices here. It's kind of up to you to run what you want. And crowd control. So it is a solid roll. It'll do some really good work, especially in PvE. If you're looking for a gun like this with this archetype, go ahead and pick this up. Now for the infamous Wormwood Sidearm. Remember, this is the lowest rate of fire, highest impact archetype for sidearms. It's important to note this actually has one more round in the magazine than the Teacup Tempest, which is the same archetype. So if you're really trying to max out that magazine size, this is the one for you. For scopes, we have the True Sight IS, the Sure Shot IS, and the Quick Draw. So it's got two really good scopes to start out with. For perks, we have the High Caliber Rounds, Quick Draw, Fitted Stock, Cascade, and Hot Swap. So not necessarily bad perks here. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe like Hidden Hand over here, but it's not a bad place to start with Hot Swap. Again, like I was saying before, if you have a sidearm, most likely you're switching to it to finish somebody off, so Hot Swap's going to really help you out in that situation. Fitted Stock, although it does increase your stability, you're not going to notice it that much. Cascade actually can be very good because sidearms don't have huge range, so you're probably going to be fairly close to your targets. It's not unlikely that you might finish someone off with a melee. You never know. These two perks over here are actually going to be very nice. Sidearms already ready very quickly, but Quick Draw is going to increase that even further if that's what you're looking for. But High Caliber Rounds is going to help out a lot. Get some nice bullet flinch going on with your enemies as you're shooting them. So this is not a bad roll at all for PvP. Sidearms aren't that great in PvE, but I guess it's a decent PvE roll. So if you're looking for a sidearm, this is not a bad place to start. I'd go ahead and pick it up. And for the rocket launcher this week for Future Workle, the Warpath. Remember, this is a max blast radius with a lower velocity, right? So it's lower than, say, something Wicked's velocity with a higher rate of fire. So if you still want that highest blast radius, this is more of a PvE type of rocket launcher, and you don't mind less velocity, you can get a nice rate of fire out of this gun. So for our launches, we have Warhead Veneers, Linear Compensator, and Countermass. Now, it looks to me like both Linear Compensator and Countermass reduce both your blast radius and your velocity, so I'd just stay with Warhead Veneers for this one. Perks, we have Flared Magwell, Snapshot, Heavy Payload, Battle Runner, and Grenades and Horseshoes. Grenades and Horseshoes, very, very good. It's going to make this gun very good in PvP. You're going to get some fun multi-kills if you use this gun for PvP because of that max blast radius with Grenades and Horseshoes. It's a lot of fun running a gun like this in PvP. Although Heavy Payload does increase your blast radius a little bit, it's only going to use about half the effectiveness of Heavy Payload because its blast radius is so large. I honestly wouldn't worry about Heavy Payload. I'd go with Battle Runner. So you can shoot this gun, you'll probably get a kill with it, and then you can go ahead and move quickly to your next location. Snapshot, Flared Magwell. If you don't really mind the normal speed for looking down sights on a gun, Flared Magwell is actually very nice for PvE. However, you're only going to get probably 2 shots in this gun in PvP anyway, so you're not going to need to worry about your reload. So in PvP, I'd run Snapshot. In PvE, I'd run Flared Magwell. It's a good roll. It's very enjoyable. If you don't have something like this in your inventory, I'd go ahead and pick it up. Start off with the Assembly 2 auto rifle. Remember, this is that Doctrine of Passing or Arminius D archetype, really fast firing rate, and very low impact. Pretty good in PvP, not so great in PvE. Let's look at the perks. It's got MD Reflex, Quick Draw IS, OEG Rifle Scope. Not my favorite scopes, but hey, maybe you like them, so go for it. Armor Piercing Rounds, Quick Draw, Perfect Balance, Spray and Play, and Hidden Hand. So it's got perfect balance and hidden hand, so it's going to be a decent shooting experience, but you don't have anything like crowd control or even counterbalance or something else on this weapon, so it's okay. Pick it up if you really like it, but I'd probably wait for another week and see what we get. The Free Will 3 hand cannon. Remember, this is that fast fire rate, low impact type of hand cannon. So the scopes, True Sight IS, Fast Draw IS, and Quick Draw IS. So True Sight's pretty good. It's got a nice, strong target acquisition. We got armor piercing rounds, hip fire, perfect balance, outlaw, and rangefinder. So it doesn't have a secondary range boosting perk on this, which is what it really needs to shine. But with outlaw and rangefinder, you're going to have a good shooting experience. It's going to be fun. It's going to be decent in PvE. I'd pick it up if you haven't tried a gun like this before, just to kind of experience it. You're not going to get the best, but it's a fun, enjoyable experience. All right, the Impeacher 5 sidearm. Again, this is also the high rate of fire, low impact archetype for sidearms. Scopes, we have True Sight IS, Sure Shot IS, and Quick Draw IS. So you have my two favorite sights on this. Very good target acquisition, very good for PvP. Armor piercing rounds, Quick Draw, hand loaded, Relentless Tracker, and Rangefinder. Rangefinder and hand loaded are going to synergize fairly well. You're going to get a lot of extra range on this gun. But you don't really have a damage boosting perk like reactive reload. You don't have high caliber rounds to stagger guys a bit more. It'll be effective, but it's not as good as it could be. I'd probably hold off for another week, see what we get. Let's try that again. Taco says no. The Impeacher 5 sidearm. Remember, this is that fast fire rate, low impact type, just like the other guns that we've been looking at. Scopes, True Sight IS, Sure Shot IS, Quick Draw IS. So pretty good scopes here. Sure Shot IS and True Sight IS are probably the best type of scopes for this, for sidearms and hand cannons. Armor piercing rounds, Quick Draw, hand loaded, Relentless Tracker, and Rangefinder. So Rangefinder and hand loaded are going to synergize fairly well. It's going to be a higher range type of sidearm for this type of archetype. So if you're looking for a higher range one, this is the one you're looking for. Quick Draw is going to help out quite a bit too. So there you go. Not the best roll, but I think it could be effective with that higher range stat going on there. All right, for the Bad Counsel 4 shotgun, we have Smooth Ballistics, Field Choke, and Aggressive Ballistics. I'd probably just run Smooth Ballistics since the other ones decrease your range. I'd just stick with the most range you can get out of these. For perks, Flared Magwell, Quick Draw, Perfect Balance, Close End or Personal, and Rangefinder. So this roll isn't great, but it does have Rangefinder and Perfect Balance and Quick Draw, so you're going to have a fun time shooting it. It's going to feel good, but there's so many other better perks you can get on a gun like this. Full auto for this high rate of fire is always enjoyable. Crowd control will be good. Even Feeding Frenzy would be a nice addition. So if you're really looking for something like this, which I doubt you are, but maybe you are, I'd pick it up. You might like it. Otherwise, I'd wait for another week. Now the Deposition 8 sniper rifle. This is a higher rate of fire and lower impact archetype. It's not the highest rate of fire and the lowest impact, but it is towards that end of the scale, so keep that in mind. For scopes, we have the Hawkeye SLR 15, the Short Gaze SLH 10, and the Eagle Eye SLR 20. So the Short Gaze here is a very, very nice scope. So you've got a good scope to start out with, good aim assist and a good feel to it. Perks, we have Armor Piercing Rounds, Quick Draw, Perfect Balance, Triple Tap, and Unflinching. So this is not a bad PvP roll, actually. So we have Unflinching, which will help counteract that flinch that Bungie's put in for sniper rifles now. Perfect Balance will help even more, help you get chain shots if you want to do 2-tap body shots with this gun. That's kind of what it's good for. Of course, Quick Draw, right? So if you're going for more quick scopes or you want to go in and out, especially with this low impact type of sniper rifle, this is a pretty good synergy here. It's not necessarily the best, but maybe hidden hand might be better. I'm not really sure. I'm not a sniper guy, but I know this is a pretty solid roll. So if you're looking for a gun kind of in this archetype, I'd probably pick this one up and give it a shot. Lastly, we have the First Citizen 9 machine gun. This is the highest rate of fire, lowest impact archetype you can get on a machine gun. For ballistics, we have Aggressive Ballistics, Linear Compensator, and Field Choke. Not a huge difference between Linear Compensator and Field Choke. I would probably go with Linear Compensator because you're going to get a good boost to range and stability on this gun, which it desperately needs at this point. For perks, we have Armor Piercing Rounds, hip fire, perfect balance, crowd control, and persistence. This is not a terrible roll. We've got persistence and perfect balance really to help out with the stability on this gun, especially with your linear compensator. It's going to give you even more stability and a little bit more range. This is definitely a PvE mob-focused gun, so keep that in mind. If you're willing to sacrifice a little stability, we have crowd control to really help out with that damage. I would recommend picking this up if you've never tried this archetype before. It looks like it could be fun in PvE, especially if it's a void burn or something else. I think this could be very enjoyable and probably benefit you well.